That's the look I got.
Okay. Thank you for coming out. I know that you guys are taking out your evening to do me a favor, and I appreciate it. When I was growing up, the choices for feeding an infant were obvious. I mean, you're a child, you're aware of other children around you. Parents either bottle-fed babies or nursed. When you're a kid, it's just kind of a fact of life. You don't really think about it too much. Then as you get older, you kind of realize, especially as a female, that there really is a choice there on how you're going to feed your child. And I didn't really think much about it until I became pregnant and realized that it was time for me to make that choice. So, throughout some research, looked at the two different options, bottles or breast, and I came to realize that breastfeeding is the only way. It's the best way. It's not only beneficial for the child, but ultimately for everyone. First and foremost, breastfeeding, nursing, is beneficial for the child. This is because human milk is species specific. The milk of each mammal species has adapted to supply its offspring with what is needed for survival and growth. This is from Sally Meyer of the La Leche League. And two of the things that make milk, human milk, species specific that it provides for the infant are antibodies and fatty acids. Antibodies protect against pathogens, which are what make a baby sick. The immunities that the mother has developed throughout her life are passed to the child through the breast milk, and this means that breastfed children get sick less often, have fewer trips to emergency rooms, fewer infections that require antibiotics. One of the major antibodies that are shared is lactoferrin, which helps to provide the baby with iron, and also has antibacterial and antiviral properties. Fatty acids, most commonly DHA and AA, protect the gastrointestinal tract, strengthen the immune system. They also optimize cognitive function and higher visual acuity, and also impacts the growth of the central nervous system. There was a study done on premature babies who received breast milk via feeding tubes, and at the ages of 18 months and then again at 7 to 8 years, they were found to be more advanced than babies that were given bottle milk via feeding tubes. And this just shows the developmental benefits of breast milk. Another benefit to the infant is that it actually has been shown that nursing can decrease the chance of having illnesses in adulthood. So the benefits are not just to the baby when they're young, but also throughout their life. One of the major things that it decreases is the likelihood of obesity. There is a dose-response relationship that has been documented between the length of time that a child is nursed and the likelihood of them being obese in adulthood. This is mainly thought to be because breastfed children stop eating when they're full. They unlatch and they're done. Whereas bottle-fed babies generally are encouraged, sometimes even forced, to finish a bottle. There's a visual interpretation of this is how much the child should eat. Whereas breastfed babies just stop eating when they're done, and so therefore they learn a lot younger proper balancing of calories and intake. Another major benefit in adulthood is that it decreases the chance of having high blood pressure and high cholesterol, as well as many other chronic diseases such as diabetes, allergies, and asthma. It is not specified as to what causes these, but it's generally contributed to the immunological, that's a hard word, abilities of human milk. So those immunities that are given to a child in infancy carry out throughout their life. Secondly, breast milk is beneficial to the mother. Some of the benefits are actually seen immediately after birth with the first nursing. The releasing of oxytocin, which is the hormone that triggers the releasing of milk, also triggers uterine contractions, which decrease the chance of the mother having hemorrhages, and also helps the uterus to return to pre-pregnancy state. Mothers that choose to bottle feed are given, given oxytocin intravenously. And even though, because it's man-made oxytocin, it's not nearly as effective as human at decreasing the chances of hemorrhage. Breastfeeding is also a natural contraceptive. A mother that chooses to breastfeed exclusively for at least 6 months, meaning they don't supplement with food, water, formula, anything, is 98 to 99% likely not to get pregnant in that time frame. Breastfeeding holds back ovulation, and it's nature's way of spacing out children. It gives the baby the primal opportunity to survive. Breastfeeding is also a metabolic process, which means that the mother is burning calories. A breastfeeding mother uses 200 to 500 calories per day. A bottle feeding mother would have to swim 30 laps or bicycle uphill for at least an hour in order to burn that many calories. The side benefit to that is that it helps breastfeeding mothers lose the baby weight a lot faster and ultimately keep it off. Like her child, breastfeeding can help the mother prevent illnesses. One thing being breast cancer. A mother that is breastfed as a child and then breastfeeds her children can cut her chance of breast cancer in half, from 1 in 8 to 1 in 16. It also decreases the chance of other reproductive cancers such as ovarian and uterine cancer, and that's believed to be because of the decreased amount of time in ovulation and their decreased opportunity for estrogen. Initially, it was believed that breastfeeding increased a mother's chance of having osteoporosis later in life. However, studies have shown that it actually makes it less likely for an older woman to encounter osteoporosis. Calcium is used up while they're breastfeeding. However, after weaning, bone density rates actually return to pre-pregnancy states, if not higher. Also, studies have shown that women who do not breastfeed are at a higher risk for hip fractures after menopause. The next benefit is to both. Breastfeeding creates a bond between the mother and child that bottle feeding cannot. It's a unique interaction, skin-to-skin contact, that can't be found anywhere else. Nearly 90% of communication that takes place between people is nonverbal, and breastfeeding is the first nonverbal contact that a mother and child have. The sensory stimulation that's part of the close skin-to-skin contact that breastfeeding requires translates into a feeling of acceptance that is a baby's first lesson in self-esteem. That's also from the La Leche League. And it's a good concept that the baby and the mother get to know each other closely. It's also a time, particularly for mothers that have multiple children, to just pay attention to that baby, that child, and give them personal time and let them know that they're special. Secondly, prolactin, which is the milk-producing hormone, has been known to create a calming sense in the mother and in the baby. Breastfeeding mothers have also been found to have a less intense reaction to adrenaline. So there's a calming, soothing effect to breastfeeding for both. Finally, nursing benefits society as a whole. It's environmentally friendly. There's no packaging or tins or cans or anything else. No garbage associated with breastfeeding. The 80,000 mothers who breastfeed for at least 6 months save 17,200 tons of tins that they would have used if they had chosen formula. It's also free. It's economical. And can be provided at any time, fresh. Formula can cost up to $100 a month for a family, and that can be a lot of money, particularly for those in tough economic times. As you can see, there is a choice, bottle feeding or breastfeeding, but ultimately for the child, for the mother, and for society as a whole, breastfeeding is the best option. Thank you.